It seems clear now that Jonathan was focused on fabricating a smear campaign. You see, Jonathan was extremely disappointed that he was not named the future president of Daystar.
In the world of Christian broadcasting, few figures have reached the level of influence achieved by Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb. Both women have carved out unique niches within the Christian community, becoming symbols of hope, inspiration, and unwavering faith for millions of people around the globe. Their paths to prominence were shaped by personal struggles, triumphs, and a deep commitment to spreading the message of faith. Joyce Meyer, a legacy of faith and empowerment. Joyce Meyer's journey to fame began long before she became the household name she is today. Known for her no-nonsense approach to biblical teaching, Joyce's ministry has touched millions of lives, reaching people from all walks of life. As the founder of Joyce Meyer Ministries, her daily television show, Enjoying Everyday Life, reaches an audience in over 100 countries, airing on numerous platforms from satellite TV to social media. But Joyce Meyer is not just a television personality. She is a voice of empowerment for those who are struggling with personal challenges. Joyce Meyer's teachings are marked by a straightforward, candid style. She speaks to her audiences with an authenticity that makes her one of the most respected figures in contemporary Christianity. Her messages focus on overcoming adversity, embracing one's personal faith, and building a life rooted in God's purpose. But Meyer's rise to prominence wasn't without its struggles. Raised in a challenging environment and enduring personal trauma, Joyce Meyer's own story of healing and redemption has resonated deeply with her followers. Her best-selling books, including Battlefield of the Mind and Living Beyond Your Feelings, have sold millions of copies worldwide, establishing her as not only a preacher but also a widely read author. Her personal story is woven into her ministry, providing a foundation for her teachings. She shares openly about her past, including her experience with abuse and how faith played a crucial role in her healing process. This openness, combined with her practical, no-frills advice on living a victorious Christian life, has made Joyce Meyer an enduring influence in the world of Christian media. Her ministry emphasizes self-improvement and a relationship with God, encouraging her audience to take personal responsibility for their spiritual growth. Introduction: A ministry bond turned sour. The public relationship between Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb had once been a symbol of sisterhood and spiritual unity, a dynamic duo of Christian leadership. Their partnership had spanned decades, influencing countless believers and leaving an indelible mark on the global Christian community. However, the unraveling of their once steadfast alliance in a shocking series of allegations and public accusations sent ripples throughout the world of Christian ministry. At the heart of the fallout were the explosive revelations made by Joyce Meyer regarding the alleged financial mismanagement and theological deviations within Joni Lamb's ministry. These accusations, which Meyer shared with the public, exposed a rift in their relationship and challenged the integrity of one of the most revered figures in Christian television. To understand the full scope of the controversy, one must first examine the foundation of their relationship, the events leading up to the fallout, and the broader implications for the Christian community. The origins of the friendship: two titans of Christian ministry. Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb had initially built their ministries from the ground up, emerging as influential figures within the evangelical Christian movement. Joyce Meyer, the founder of Joyce Meyer Ministries, had risen to prominence through her straightforward, unvarnished approach to preaching. Her television program, Enjoying Everyday Life, had reached millions across the globe, offering practical advice on faith, personal growth, and spiritual renewal. Meyer's ministry was not just about inspirational speeches, but about empowering individuals to live their best lives by embracing a deeper connection with God. Similarly, Joni Lamb co-founded Daystar television network, which quickly became one of the largest Christian networks worldwide. Her charisma, compelling sermons, and tireless commitment to spreading the gospel through television made her a beloved figure. Her show, Table Talk, gained a wide following, becoming a platform for discussing faith, family, and contemporary Christian issues. Lamb's ministry focused on creating a space for dialogue and inspiration, uniting believers and engaging with current events from a biblical perspective. The two women had not only been colleagues but close friends, often appearing together at conferences and special events. Their shared vision for spreading the gospel through media and their mutual respect for each other's work solidified their bond. Their ministries seemed complementary, Meyer with her no-nonsense preaching and Lamb with her engaging television presence. Together, they were a formidable force in Christian media. Joni Lamb, the rise of Daystar and her legacy. In a different yet equally influential corner of the Christian broadcasting world stands Joni Lamb, co-founder of Daystar Television Network. Joni's story is one of ambition, faith, and partnership. Alongside her late husband Marcus Lamb, she helped establish one of the largest Christian television networks in the world, which now broadcasts to millions of people in over 100 countries. Daystar became a symbol of Christian broadcasting, offering a platform for ministries, pastors, and speakers to share the gospel, reaching millions of viewers every week. Joni's on-air presence was defined by warmth, authenticity, and a deep passion for her faith. As the co-host of the popular Joni Table Talk show, she created a space for meaningful discussions on faith, family, and social issues. Joni's gentle demeanor and approachable personality earned her the admiration of viewers, while her commitment to serving others was reflected in Daystar's extensive charitable outreach programs. Daystar wasn't just about preaching the gospel, it was about making a tangible difference in the lives of people around the world through humanitarian efforts, disaster relief, and support for global missions. Joni's friendship with Joyce Meyer went back many years, built on mutual respect and a shared vision for Christian broadcasting. The two women frequently appeared together at conferences and ministry events, offering words of encouragement and wisdom to their followers. Their bond seemed unbreakable, a partnership that spanned not just professional aspirations but personal friendships as well. A friendship built on shared values and a common mission. The friendship between Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb had always appeared to be solid, a partnership between two women who had built their ministries from the ground up. Their shared values, faith, service, and a deep commitment to spreading the gospel formed the bedrock of their relationship. They supported one another through the challenges of ministry, often appearing side by side at high-profile Christian events, their unity serving as a testament to the power of female friendship in the world of Christian ministry. However, despite the public displays of affection and solidarity, behind closed doors, things were beginning to unravel. As their respective ministries grew, so too did their influence, and with that influence came a tension that would soon become impossible to ignore. Their styles of ministry, while rooted in similar Christian principles, began to diverge. Joyce Meyer, known for her empowering message of self-improvement and practical spirituality, had a ministry centered on personal transformation. Meanwhile, Joni Lamb, while equally dedicated to faith and empowerment, had become more focused on expanding Daystar and increasing its reach through media and charitable efforts. The differences between the two women became increasingly apparent as their ministries grew in prominence. As their influence expanded, their egos and visions for the future of Christian ministry also started to diverge. Joni Lamb had become the face of Daystar, with her name synonymous with the network's rapid expansion. She was hailed as a visionary, someone who had helped build one of the most influential Christian television platforms in the world. In contrast, Joyce Meyer had become a global icon, her books and teachings transcending the confines of Christian broadcasting and reaching audiences worldwide. While both women maintained a professional relationship, the strain between them was becoming harder to ignore. Rumors began to circulate about behind-the-scenes disagreements, with insiders whispering about tensions over theology, leadership, and personal ambition. Both women had worked hard to establish their ministries, and as their empires grew, so did the pressure to maintain their positions of influence. The dynamic between them began to shift as their individual successes drew them further apart. The Bombshell, Joyce Meyer's public denouncement of Joni Lamb. What had been whispered about behind closed doors finally became public when Joyce Meyer made a shocking announcement. In a bold and unprecedented move, Joyce Meyer publicly denounced Joni Lamb, accusing her of spiritual abuse and manipulation. The accusations sent shockwaves through the Christian community, with many followers and ministry partners left stunned by the rift between the two women who had once been considered close friends and allies. The allegations were explosive and far-reaching, touching not just on personal matters but on the very foundations of Joni Lamb's ministry. Joyce Meyer accused Joni Lamb of using her platform for personal gain, exploiting her followers' trust for financial and personal enrichment. The claims painted Joni as someone who had become increasingly self-serving and disconnected from the mission that had once defined her ministry. Joyce Meyer's accusations sent ripples through the Christian media world, forcing followers, colleagues, and other ministries to confront the reality of the situation. Allegations of financial mismanagement. At the heart of Joyce Meyer's allegations was a complex web of financial deceit. According to Meyer, Joni Lamb had mismanaged millions of dollars in donor funds, funneling money into shell companies, secret bank accounts, and fake invoices. The accusations suggested that Joni had used these funds for personal indulgences, including private jets, luxury cars, and lavish vacations. The claims were nothing short of devastating, particularly considering Daystar's reputation for promoting financial stewardship and responsible giving. As the allegations surfaced, the question on everyone's mind was how Joni Lamb, a woman who had built her career on preaching the importance of financial integrity, could have engaged in such a web of deceit. The revelation of financial impropriety painted a picture of a ministry that had lost its way, prioritizing personal wealth and luxury over the spiritual mission it was supposed to serve. The accusations were a stark contrast to the image Joni had cultivated over the years, a woman of faith and service whose ministry had helped countless people around the world. The fallout and public outcry. The response to the allegations was swift and intense. Followers of Joni Lamb were left heartbroken and confused, struggling to reconcile the woman they had admired and trusted with the accusations that were now being leveled against her. Many questioned how someone they had viewed as a role model could have fallen so far from the path of righteousness. Calls for Joni's resignation flooded social media, while some supporters tried to defend her, insisting that the allegations were part of a larger smear campaign. The fallout from the accusations was widespread, with many questioning the integrity of Daystar television network and the leadership of Joni Lamb. As the investigation into the financial claims gained traction, the pressure on Joni to address the allegations grew. The Christian community, once unified behind her ministry, now found itself divided, with some rallying to her defense while others called for accountability and transparency. The expose, hypocrisy, and the secret life of Joni Lamb. Joyce Meyer's next bombshell came when she exposed what she described as the hypocrisy of Joni Lamb's ministry. Meyer revealed that Joni, who had long been a vocal critic of financial mismanagement within other ministries, had been living a secret life of luxury and excess. Private jets, multi-million-dollar mansions, luxury cars. These were just some of the indulgences Meyer claimed Joni Lamb had used donor funds to finance. The hypocrisy was staggering. Joni had long preached about living a life of simplicity and financial stewardship, but the revelations about her lavish lifestyle painted a different picture altogether. Meyer's accusations struck at the heart of the Christian values that Daystar and Joni Lamb had espoused for decades. How could someone who had built a ministry on the principles of financial integrity and responsible giving have fallen so far from those ideals? The future of Daystar and Joni Lamb's legacy. The controversy surrounding Joni Lamb's ministry has left many wondering what the future holds for Daystar television network. With its once unified front now fractured, the network faces an uncertain future. The once dominant position Joni Lamb held in Christian broadcasting has been tarnished, and it remains to be seen how Daystar will recover from the fallout of these revelations. As the investigation continues and the public discourse unfolds, one thing is clear: Joni Lamb's legacy will never be the same. Whether she can restore her reputation and rebuild her ministry remains to be seen, but the accusations leveled against her have irrevocably changed the trajectory of her career and the future of Daystar. The Christian community is left grappling with the implications of these shocking revelations as they confront the stark reality of what has transpired behind the scenes of two of Christian broadcasting's most powerful figures. The tensions begin growing dissonance in ministry philosophy. Despite their shared mission, cracks in their relationship began to form as their ministries expanded. As both women grew in influence, their individual approaches to ministry started to diverge, raising questions about their alignment. Meyer's ministry emphasized personal responsibility and practical faith, focusing on how believers could overcome adversity and achieve spiritual growth through commitment and self-discipline. Her teachings were rooted in the belief that prosperity came as a result of faithfulness and personal effort, rather than as an entitlement. In contrast, Joni Lamb's ministry appeared to shift toward an increasingly prosperity-focused gospel, which some critics described as a wealth gospel. The focus on wealth and material success was evident in her teachings, which often highlighted financial blessings as a sign of divine favor. For many, this raised concerns about the spiritual integrity of Lamb's ministry. Critics pointed to her frequent appeals for donations and her emphasis on the blessings that came with financial giving, questioning whether her ministry's priorities had strayed from the teachings of humility and sacrificial service that Jesus had modeled. Meyer, who had always been outspoken in her criticism of the so-called prosperity gospel, began to express unease about Lamb's direction. Her concerns were amplified by growing rumors about the use of ministry funds in ways that appeared excessive. Lamb's lifestyle, which included private jets, luxury cars, and lavish vacations, seemed to stand in stark contrast to the modesty and humility expected from Christian leaders. The discrepancies between the message Lamb preached and the life she led were starting to stir discomfort within Meyer's circle. The Bombshell revelation, Joyce Meyer's allegations against Joni Lamb. The moment of reckoning came when Joyce Meyer decided to take a public stand, revealing what she claimed were significant financial improprieties within Joni Lamb's ministry. In a series of pointed statements, Meyer accused Lamb of misusing donor funds through a network of shell companies and secret bank accounts. Meyer alleged that millions of dollars intended for ministry outreach and charitable efforts were instead funneled into Lamb's personal accounts, enabling her to live a life of opulence far removed from the humble principles she had once espoused. The accusations did not stop at financial wrongdoing. Meyer also leveled serious theological criticisms against Lamb, accusing her of straying from Orthodox Christian doctrine. Meyer pointed to Lamb's emphasis on wealth accumulation as a sign of divine favor, calling it a distortion of the gospel. Meyer claimed that Lamb's teachings had become dangerously self-serving, promoting materialism over spiritual growth, and that her ministry had become more about personal gain than the pursuit of God's kingdom. For many in the Christian community, Meyer's allegations were a devastating blow. The prospect that Lamb, who had once been seen as a paragon of Christian virtue, could be involved in such practices was almost unthinkable. The accusations shattered the image of Lamb as a spiritual leader and left many wondering how they had missed the warning signs. The betrayal was felt not only by those who had supported Lamb's ministry, but also by those who had once seen the partnership between Meyer and Lamb as an example of Christian unity. A betrayal of trust, the fallout from the allegations. At the heart of Meyer's accusations was the sense of betrayal. The friendship between Meyer and Lamb had been one of mutual respect and shared ministry goals. Meyer had been deeply hurt by what she saw as a violation of trust. Their bond had been built on the understanding that both women were committed to the same mission, spreading the gospel and serving God's people. Yet Meyer's growing concerns about Lamb's actions had convinced her that Lamb was no longer serving those principles. For Meyer, the betrayal was not just personal, it was spiritual. She had poured her energy into building a ministry that was focused on serving others and preaching the gospel without compromise. To see Lamb, once a close friend, accused of enriching herself at the expense of her followers was deeply painful. Meyer's decision to expose Lamb's alleged wrongdoing was driven by a desire to protect the integrity of the Christian ministry and ensure that the public remained aware of the potential dangers lurking in some parts of the Christian media world. For Lamb's followers, the allegations were a punch to the gut. Many had entrusted Lamb with their hard-earned money, believing that their donations would go towards supporting ministry outreach, evangelism, and charitable work. The accusations of financial mismanagement and hypocrisy led to feelings of betrayal, with many supporters questioning whether their faith in Lamb had been misplaced. The fallout was not just limited to Lamb's personal reputation, it had far-reaching implications for her ministry, which now faced a crisis of credibility. Joni Lamb's response, a public defense and personal secret. As the allegations mounted, Joni Lamb found herself at the center of a media firestorm. In her public response, Lamb vehemently denied the accusations, arguing that the allegations of financial impropriety were based on false information and that her ministry had always operated with transparency and accountability. She insisted that her lifestyle was a reflection of the blessings that came with faithful service to God and that her focus had always been on advancing the gospel. However, behind closed doors, Lamb was grappling with another, more personal challenge. Joyce Meyer had apparently uncovered a secret in Lamb's past, one that had the potential to unravel everything Lamb had worked for. While the details of this secret were never fully disclosed, it was clear that Meyer's knowledge of Lamb's personal history gave her leverage in the public feud. Some speculated that Meyer's decision to go public with the accusations was partly motivated by this newfound knowledge, using it as a bargaining chip in their ongoing battle. The implications for Christian ministry and accountability. The controversy surrounding Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb had profound implications for the Christian community. It raised critical questions about accountability, transparency, and the ethical responsibilities of Christian leaders. As both women navigated the fallout from the scandal, the broader Christian world was forced to confront uncomfortable truths about the power dynamics and financial practices within ministry organizations. For many, the scandal was a wake-up call. The Christian community began to question how much influence and wealth should be concentrated in the hands of a few prominent leaders. The incident highlighted the need for greater oversight and accountability in ministries, particularly those with extensive financial resources and media influence. As the public continued to process the fallout from the scandal, conversations around the ethical practices of Christian leaders gained new urgency. Reconciliation and redemption, a road to healing. In the aftermath of the allegations, both Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb faced difficult decisions. Their public feud had caused irreparable damage to their personal reputations, as well as to the broader Christian community's faith in their ministries. Despite the deep wounds caused by the betrayal, both women knew that reconciliation and healing were possible, though the path forward would be long and fraught with challenges. The road to redemption would require humility, forgiveness, and a renewed commitment to the Christian principles that had once united them. For Meyer, the lesson learned was that even in the face of betrayal, forgiveness and grace were essential for moving forward. For Lamb, the scandal provided an opportunity to reassess her ministry and its priorities, and to make the necessary changes to regain the trust of her followers. As both women sought reconciliation, they discovered that redemption is often found in the most unexpected places, and that healing begins with acknowledging one's mistakes and seeking forgiveness. In the end, their story would be remembered not just for the scandal and the public feud, but for the lessons learned along the way, that integrity, humility, and forgiveness are the true foundations of Christian ministry. Conclusion: a legacy of truth and redemption. The saga of Joyce Meyer and Joni Lamb serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride, materialism, and unchecked ambition within Christian ministry. While their ministries may have been built on noble principles, the events surrounding their fallout expose the fragility of even the strongest alliances. However, in the midst of scandal and betrayal, there is also a powerful message of redemption, a reminder that true Christian leadership is not defined by wealth or power, but by humility, integrity, and a willingness to seek reconciliation. The lessons learned from this saga will continue to resonate in the Christian community for years to come.